What's up, guys? Today I'm excited to share with you a sale I've made that I don't want to say it's been 3 years in the making. It's not really true. But after 3 years of work in the real estate space, I was able to elevate all of what I've done. So I'm going to share that with you guys today. Here are the numbers, but here's a part of the journey. If you take a look at the channel and you go back in time with the Wayback Machine, you're going to see all the fun stuff along the way that I've done. I started off way back in 2019, the last day of the year, and I bought 26 crack houses. It was the first house I've ever bought, and I did it with no experience. I leaned on my core four, which is huge, from David Green's book, Long Distance Real Estate Investing. There's a link down in the description if you haven't seen it. You should definitely check this book out. Even though I'm local, this book made you think. Outside of that, I had them. I inherited a bunch of tenants, and I slowly started renovating all the properties. As I had legacy tenants that I inherited, I let them all stay. And I slowly started burring house after house after house. After 2 years of doing this, I burred out several times. I ended up getting all of my money back out. I basically owned the houses for free, and I immediately turned around and put them back into more houses and some buildings, blah, blah, blah. At this point, only 2 years later, at that time, I ended up going after commercial buildings and apartment complexes. By that time, I think I had 163 doors or something, which doors don't matter. That's an ego thing that people say. It's just the cash flow side. It's just an okay way to quantify things. But it was easier for me to go after an apartment complex. Let's say it's an 18-unit apartment complex, which we did 2 of this year. And basically, we ended up having one roof. You have 4 water heaters. You have 1 area of electrical. You got 1 HVAC system. But you have a massive apartment complex. It's about the same work as 2 to 3 of the small crack houses. Mathematically, the juice was worth the squeeze. The math said for me to continue to stabilize and mess with those. But me and my 4-man team, it was becoming annoying that we'd stop and work on a several-month project that would just be a single-family home, and you'd burr back out of it, you execute it, it'd be successful. You should have just had what was the opportunity cost of going after that single-family home when I'm at the size of going after these apartment complexes or commercial structures. And when you get into the commercial game, another book you should check out, Self-Storage Income. This is a book about commercial real estate. It's talking about self-storage, but you definitely gotta check that out. It's been AJ Osborne. You won't regret it. Again, links in the description. That's when I made the decision. I have about 1/3 of my portfolio left. Roughly 10 or 11 properties left. I'm gonna sell them. So I bought these properties. They paid me for 2 years, and I began the process of selling. And in the meantime, I replaced 2 or 3 roofs on them. But the last few properties, some of them I had some good ones in there too, that I had renovated. I went ahead, renovated those, did some successful burrs, but I put a package together and I split off 9 of my properties. Well, the 9 properties I split off paid me for 2 years. I got the bumps, scrapes, bruises, bloody noses, all the lessons I was paid by real estate to learn. And from there, I then made the decision that I'm gonna sell these guys. I went to one member of my core 4, my contractor, who saw me go from a W-2 job and turn around and go into, being able to retire and have financial independence and hang out with you guys here on YouTube and whatnot. He was wanting to get into the game. I was able to come up with a decent appreciation. So I sold him a deal where the houses are actually worth more, but I made a little bit. He's buying them for less. And then I was able to carry his down payment for him. He didn't have to bring any money down to buy the deal. I used the lessons I learned to help other people. So with that, I'm going to share with you my deal. Basically, the rough numbers are as follows, and you can see it on the screen here. I sold the deal for $630,000. I roughly spent $250,000 to buy these 9 properties, roughly. I put money into those. We won't worry about that. That's for my accountant to decide. But from the purchase price, I bought them at $250,000, which is the loan that's against them. I sold it for $630,000, and then I carried $45,000 down for the buyer. When the property sold, a loan against the property is $510,000 to completely pay and release these properties from the initial loan. I sold it for $630,000. The $510,000 of my loan pay down minus the $250,000 or so that I took to purchase them, and Of course, I bird them back out in the meantime, which is why the loan's higher. Means that I had a spread, and the spread difference was about $260,000. So yesterday at my closing, my net worth went up by $260,000. I then pocketed about 50 grand in my pocket, and then I'm carrying a second position loan of the 15% down that my buyer had to do. So now I'm basically carrying $45,000 that he owes me over the next 3 years, and that will balloon. He got a win-win. He gets to save his down payment money to renovate all those houses. I get about like $290 a month in cash flow, so not very much. But my $510,000 of loans is the real winner. My loans dropped by $510,000. That $510,000 loan means that my expenses are dropping about $2,600 a month. 24, 26, I don't know. The bank hasn't told me what it's, but that's as close as I can rough out the numbers. But the important thing is, I have $300 a month in my pockets. I have negative 2,000, let's say 2,400, $2,600 in my pocket, and my net worth went up by $26,000. I did all of that by getting paid to learn over these 3 years. And I am not very smart and sophisticated. I'm copying things that are in these books behind me. In my descriptions, you see the books they taught me. You don't need anyone to teach you. You don't need to pay for a course. You can go do it all yourself. I'm dumb, from Missouri, C student. You can do this. There is nothing difficult about it. The only difference between me and most people is that most people make excuses, and I had the courage to make it happen. Scared to death, but I had the courage to take that first step. Guys, if you thought that was interesting, please share it down in the comments. Share this with somebody that you would think would get value from it. Let me know down in the comments if you've had a similar story where you were able to grow and scale. And let me know also on what topics you'd like me to cover. And with that, guys, if you like real estate, if you like business, if you like to learn tips and tricks and hacks, please go ahead, like, subscribe, and remember, guys, go out there, fix what bugs you, and eliminate the struggle. We'll see you next time. Yeah!